Good evening, guys. I thought that I'd give a very quick video presentation about the cryptos and what they're up to today. It seems like there's been a pretty major correction after having a lot of going up for the past week. A lot of them have now started to drop down. At first you think that it's really bad, but when you actually look and compare the 1 day and more importantly the 1 week charts, you'll notice that it isn't really as bad as it seems. It's just that, well, we all like it going up instead of going down. So on Bitcoin, at this very point in time, the chart is slightly out of date. It's dropped a little bit further, but if you look at the 1 day, we're in the top left. It's still made huge amount of ground recently, and I think that this is mainly a lot of profit taking, some panic selling, and it'll bounce back pretty quick. Same with Ethereum, that's made huge gains. I know that that has dropped down more since. I'm currently looking at on my other screen a more up-to-date one, and on the per day, it's doing pretty okay at the moment. So then we've got Dash, where that, I would say on the 1 day chart at this very point in time, that made a hell of a lot of ground earlier on, and it's just gone back to just under what it's opened up at. So I'm not too worried about that either. Litecoin, on the other hand, has lost some ground from yesterday. And then you've got Ethereum Classic. That, along with XRP, the Ripple, has been doing really the worst out of all of them. But with XRP, it's very much it goes up and down on its own free will, and it just gets dragged along with all the others. Next up will be the other weekly chart. So we're going to have a quick look through on this, and it's pretty much all the same story, that it's nothing really long term to be worried about. I'm glad that I kept a good percentage of my funds off to one side, so I'm just looking for another entry buy point. At this very point, I am not looking to close really any of the positions which are out there in the portfolio. If it gets a lot worse, and if there is no end in sight for this drop, then I might reconsider closing some positions, reopening with the same amount of equity left over from those positions at a lower buying point, so that way we actually gain all the way up, instead of keeping positions which are always in the red, getting rid of a few, putting them back in the green at a lower entry point, so we actually make more money on the way up as soon as we beat the spread. And that should help with the overall percentage. On the portfolio of today, even though that there's a huge amount of red in the crypto side of things, the portfolio isn't really doing a huge amount. On the total thing, on the day change, at the moment we are 3% down, and that's about it. It's not really a huge effect on the intraday, because most of these gains have gone up during the day and then back down again. So I would say try not to panic. Don't get into the panic selling, because before you know it, all the bears which are currently piling in will get back off again, and if you're not very careful, you'll end up closing a few shorts in the red. So this time I'm going to be holding off the shorts, purely because I've got enough funds that I can open up new positions at a lower rate, and that's it. So I hope that you found my thoughts calming, or maybe not on the other hand. As always, this is not trading advice. You can do exactly what you want, because nobody knows the future. If we did, we'd all be millionaires, but unfortunately we don't.